Now to the mystery surrounding actor Jia Khan's suicide, which continues with police investigation not being able to provide any clear answers.
Jia Khan's mother Rabia broke down while speaking to CNN IB and Sagarika Ghosh last night. She also accused Suraj Pancholi for Jia's death.
I was a star, acting alongside the biggest names in the industry. Movies, media, parties, I had everything. And then there was him. He who was my dream, he who was my nightmare. It started with a scratch and I never realized when the scratch turned into a bruise and that bruise into a scar. This vicious cycle had to stop and I had to take refuge in a better place. I was a star.
Love, abuse. Abuse, love. It is said that they're both sides of the same coin. But what if this coin loses its good side? Ladies and gentlemen, we at Bairamji Jijiboy Government Medical College would like to throw some light upon bonds of pain. Adolescent romances may be inspired from a Yash Raj film, Nicholas Sparks or even Twilight. Romeo Juliet, Heer Ranjha, Laila Majnu, all these stories have been idolized by us since we were little. But what exactly is an ideal relationship? In a healthy relationship, the partners trust and support one another, respect each other's independence and want what is best for the other. It makes you feel safe and protected. However, there's a fine line between passion and abuse. And when this line gets blurred in a youthful romance, it falls prey to ARA, adolescent relationship abuse, which is a pattern of repeated acts in which a person physically, sexually or emotionally abuses another person of the same or opposite sex in the context of a dating or similarly defined relationship.
ARA is a demon which has many faces, each one uglier than the other. It could take the form of physical abuse, which is the most apparent. Hitting, kicking, punching, slapping, scratching, pinching, or even acid attack. Your partner makes you fear for your safety. A minute may be a very short time, but it takes just 1 minute to damage a life and face, leaving an innocent person to struggle emotionally, psychologically, and economically for the entire period of life. Such can be the brutal power of acid attack or vitriolage.
She was mine, she is mine, and she will always be mine. If I cannot have her, no one else can.
17-year-old Roshni from Bihar never knew that a love affair that lasted a year would leave a scar on her forever. After her parents arranged for her to get married to someone else, her jilted lover decided to take this rash step.
Another expression could be emotional abuse, where an individual resorts to yelling, threatening, name-calling, public humiliation, or limiting a partner's social life.
Marry me or I'll jump off the building and you'll be blamed.
21-year-old Amit was tired of receiving such threats from his ex-girlfriend, who simply could not accept the failure of their relationship.
On the other hand, financial abuse comprises stealing money or torturing your partner in return for money. One of the most dreaded manifestations of ARA is sexual abuse, refusing to use contraception, forcing an abortion, and even rape. Shalini was rushed to the hospital after bleeding profusely when her boyfriend attempted to abort her baby by using a screwdriver, only to find out that she was never really pregnant and now had a perforated uterus. And another type which has gained notoriety in the past few years, social and technological abuse, spreading rumors using blackmail, cyberbullying, cyberstalking, digital disrespect, threatening to share personal effects as well as impersonation. Take the case of Ishita, a management student who was prom queen of her college. Everyone loved her. Everyone was enchanted by her. But as for him, he already had her. He was aware of her whereabouts, her every move, and he liked the feeling of being in control.
So which are the high-risk groups to develop abusive tendencies? The inexperience with dating, the want of freedom from parents, romanticized views of love, and peer pressure to have dating relationship makes adolescence a very vulnerable period of life. The risks of having unhealthy relationship increase in teens who have a family history of violence involving parents, who don't have parental support, have learning difficulties and other problems at school, are sad and depressed, can't manage anger or frustration, hang out with violent peers. They believe it's okay to use threats or violence to get their way, have a history of aggressive behavior or bullying, use of alcohol or drugs.
So how does one recognize ARA? Screening begins with direct questions, but not all youth may disclose or even know that they are at risk. It is important to identify the signs both in the victim and the perpetrator. There is a cycle that typically presents in 3 stages, starting with the green stage. In the beginning, both the partners are happy to have met and enjoy each other's company. Mushy feelings overflow, sending butterflies flying in the stomach and cheeks flushing. It looks perfect until the yellow stage. The triggering event could be something as small as talking to someone of the opposite sex. The abuser gets frustrated and tries isolating the partner, keeps a tab on whom she meets, whom she calls, where she is. The controlling behavior and possessiveness worsens stalking. He develops unrealistic expectations. But the victim works hard on the relationship and tries to reason with the abuser, while he emotionally withdraws from her. There is yelling, threatening, screaming, blaming the partner for all of his mistakes. This is the longest phase, taking a turn for the worse in the red stage. Sudden explosion of anger leading to violence, physical, verbal and sexual abuse. In spite of all this, the victim misconstrues the abusive actions as an expression of passion and does not resort to help. She presents with injuries that are inconsistent with history and are at different stages of healing with delay in seeking care. She withdraws from the family, becoming hostile and secretive. There are long absences from college, but the abuser quickly defaults into green stage again to make up for the bad behavior. Gestures like bringing flowers and declaring love for the victim, reassuring her of a better future, only to wait for an event that would again spark off the yellow stage. Depression slowly creeps in. Apart from being at the mercy of the partner, the victim's own reflection becomes flawed. Self-blaming, self-harming, self-torturing paves way for auto-destruction. This double-edged sword cuts deep to the very essence of the relationship. But the tragedy is when the abused lives in these shreds, not accepting change. Drowning the anguish in alcohol, smoking the grief away in green, sleeping sleepless nights, waking up in terror drenched in sweat, inducing external pain to get distracted from the inflicted mental torture. Sometimes this is just not enough for the victim. And soon, the victim has had enough.
To understand the current situation of ARA, we at BJGMC Pune conducted a survey, both offline and online, among 3 age groups of adolescents, that is 10 to 14, 15 to 19 and 20 to 24 years, both males and females. The study protocol was approved by authorized persons of our institution. To the best of our knowledge, this survey was first of its kind in India. A cross-sectional observational study was done using a pre-validated, pre-designed, semi-structured questionnaire prepared by TEAR. The inclusion criteria being adolescents who had given consent to be a part of the survey and had been in a relationship. The exclusion criteria consisted of adolescents who did not consent to be a part of the survey or have never been in a relationship. The results were compiled, tabulated and analyzed. The offline survey consisted of 150 responses from institutions all over Pune. A whopping 69% of adolescents were unaware of ARA. Of those who were aware, 55% still fell prey to it. 21% admitted to having contemplated self-harm, alcohol or drug abuse. 66% were subjected to emotional abuse, of which 43% were females. 14% to physical abuse, of which 12% were females. 12% to sexual abuse, and all were females. The TEAR questionnaire was used to grade ARA on the basis of degree of abuse suffered. Among those who have suffered from ARA, 38% were victims of mild ARA, 33% of moderate ARA, and a shocking 29% of severe ARA. Our online survey was conducted from 22nd Jan to 10th Feb 2014 using snowball sampling. We received responses from all over the world amounting to more than 300, which served as an indicator of the scope of ARA. 52% were unaware of ARA. In fact, 53% of those who were aware still succumbed. 9% admitted to have contemplated self-harm, alcohol, drug abuse. 48% victims of emotional abuse, 35% were women. 11% of physical abuse, of which 9% were women. 10% of sexual abuse, of which only 1% were men. The statistics showed us that awareness about ARA in adolescence was lacking. More women were victims to abuse than men. Emotional abuse was the commonest type of ARA, which could be something as inconspicuous as imposing your views about what to wear, or as humiliating as them in public. As per the TEAR questionnaire, many young relationships have fallen prey to mild ARA and others to the severe form, with complaints ranging from jealousy to violent outbursts and even physical abuse.
So what's the solution? Most victims fail to realize that they're falling through a seemingly endless pit. But once you hit the ground, what next? Know this, you're not alone and there's never too deep a pit that you can't pull yourself out of. Help is out there. You only have to recognize that you need it. Step 1. Admit to yourself that you're in an abusive relationship. It is not always easy to determine that a relationship that was once healthy has now crossed the line. Step 2. No one deserves this. Everyone deserves to be safe. Do something that makes you healthy and happy with the people that you love.
Also, friends play a vital role in helping the victim come out of the abusive relationship. Remind your friend that at this crucial moment, you want to be there for them and that you only wish to help, not judge. In case as a friend you're unable to handle the situation, then seek help from a trusted adult who could be a parent or a psychiatrist. Never leave your friend alone and always take them seriously. It is easier to talk to someone of your own age and hence peer educators are selected for spreading awareness. Participation of the family is also important. As a parent, keep all communication lines between you and your child open. Notice any warning signs. Ask questions and stay alert. Make sure your child knows that you support them, but not the abusive relationship. Counseling of school and college-going students should be promoted to help them identify the warning signs so they can nip the abuse in the bud. In the words of Dr. Ivan Netto, a renowned psychiatrist,
ARA is a silent epidemic. Each day, the number of cases are increasing. ARA affects a student's academic performance and mental health. Information technology has truly changed the nature of human relationships. We need to have preventive education and customized interventions to combat ARA.
How do we as the medical personnel intervene in this problem? Our primary goal is to provide support. The victim should not feel helpless or threatened. A simple warm statement like, "You are not alone," can bring relief to the patient. Involve support groups, NGOs, offer to call a helpline. If the abuse is very severe, we must establish crisis intervention. The victim should be taken to a nearby psychiatry unit if needed. To deal with the legal ramifications, the police or lawyer may be informed. To reassure that the victim feels safe and sound, we should proceed towards evaluating a safety plan for the victim, which could include changing the phone number, putting them under protection of a close one, strengthening the security system, and insisting on having a regular follow-up. How do you deal with the abuser? Counseling is the foremost step, but it may not always be possible to free the abuser of this malady. People close to the abuser should identify the signs and warn them of their consequences. This situation is extremely delicate and should be handled with a lot of care. It is important to create awareness about ARA among the youth, which will go a long way in curbing the incidence of abuse. Many states of the USA and other countries not only have laws, but also government-directed programs against ARA as a part of their curriculum. In India, ARSH, Adolescent Reproductive and Sexual Health, a project of the NRHM, has set up clinics all over the country, helplines running 24/7. In Maharashtra, ARSH goes from a Maitri clinic and will be launching its helpline soon. Lastly, it is imperative to realize that in this vulnerable phase of adolescence, just attraction is not equal to love.
ARA is happening everywhere. It is not a question of luck or fate, or rich or poor. February is the Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. Let us all question ourselves. Are we a part of the problem or the solution? It is not tough to make decisions when you know what your values are.
You ask me if there's something better for us? Then the answer is yes. Yes, 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 a million times yes. Some say that fate is not under our command and destiny is not our own. But I know better. Our fate lies within us. We only have to be brave enough to see it.
Thank you, BG Medical College. I think the open crowd said it all. May I now request the entire team to take the center stage for question and answer round. The timer.
Interested to know what was the reason behind choosing this topic? Logic.
Thank you for your question, sir. So, statistics show that 21% of our population is adolescents. We have realized that statements like, marry me or I'll jump off the building. Nowadays, it's taken as a funny sentence. No one really takes them seriously. And no one really understands that these things lead you to, is a form of abuse. Yesterday, there was an article in the newspaper that showed that an engineering student committed suicide because of such taunts from his girlfriend. So our basic aim was to bring this situation in light, and many people get aware and are able to recognize it earlier and hence take help.
As a doctor, how do you treat patients who don't come to you?
Thank you for your question, sir. I would like to answer it. So firstly, the first role is of friends. Before that, even the victim should know. So the last step is doctor. First, the friends, the family, the victim himself should know what is going on. So that is a basic aim, to let the others know what their friends or themselves are suffering from.
How do you see your role in prevention or reducing the incidence of this?
Thank you for your question, sir. As we know, there are ARSH clinics here in all over India, and about 140 clinics in Maharashtra itself. Now, what they do is, especially students, MBBS students, they form a group and we perform outreach activities. Make people aware, make the students, adolescents aware about a boy-girl relationship, reproductive health, etc. And if at all they have any problem medically, anything, they come to us. And the fact is that these ARSH clinics, they receive calls, they receive people come to these with, I got pregnant. And then the clinic will provide with safe alternatives for safe abortion, basically. Contraception is provided, and general information on maintaining hygiene and a healthy relationship, basically. So there is a big role for doctors to spread awareness, because that will be the first step towards preventing all this.
Now, newspapers and media have shown the incidence of it. and the consequences of it. Now, can you cite some examples in your vicinity of any intervention with bright outcome in cases of AR?
Sorry, sir?
Any intervention by medical community, social network community, psychiatrist community, intervening into it, and we are not seeing the consequences as you highlighted.
Thank you for your question, sir. Sir, we did this project with our guide, and he told us that they have been conducting such street plays and would do it in vernacular language. They do it in the vernacular language, that is Marathi, so that many people understand this. And there has been a rise in the number of cases that have been coming to him after these street plays. On an average, at least 5 patients come to him per day with respect to such complaints, which are medical students and otherwise. So, behavioral changes. Yes, sir.
Is there